Right, making a section view of a ribbed part. The ribbed part is not sectioned. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and start with this top view and to go ahead and show you what this part looks like. This is a 3-hole guide with a ribbed reinforcement on both sides, and we're going to go ahead and section this part. So what you see here is going to be the top view. Now I'm going to go ahead and select my section tool. I'm going to select the view. I'm going to slide out approximately a 1/4 inch off the part, come to center, and come down, right click, and continue. We're going to be doing what's called a half section of this particular part, and I'm going to make sure that actually my hidden lines are turned on for this particular view, because I want hidden lines on the side that is a standard multi-view projection, but the side that has a section view, we're going to end up removing all of the hidden lines at the end of this. Now you can see that what is sectioned, this side would be correct in this area, yet what is not correct for the section property rules is that this area here, which is the rib, should not have section lining on it, because it can give that indication of a much thicker, heavier part. So this is the rules of section lining, not necessarily the true physics of cutting this part. So what we're going to do is we're going to mouse over top of the section lining, and I'm going to select it. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to come down to the word hide, because I want to actually hide that particular section lining, that cross hatching, turning that off. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to then place a sketch on this view so that I can now alter some of the geometry that I can then use for creating a hatch pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll select the view, and then I'm going to come up and hit Start Sketch. That now places a sketch on this particular view. I can know that because my crosshairs are running through that view. And then just to go ahead and show the basics of how to create a fill hatch region, I'm going to come over and I'm going to use this tool here, Project Geometry, because for this particular section here, I don't need to draw any closed loop. If I mouse up and then project the geometry for the profile of the area that needs to be sectioned, by doing that, I have a closed loop now, and I can grab Fill Hatch Region, come to the inside, and then select it. Once I do that, my dialog opens for the hatch. I'm going to select the hatch pattern that I'm looking for, which I believe is going to be cast iron. So it's going to be general purpose cast iron, which is ANSI 31. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. That now will apply a hatch to that particular area. Okay? With hatch being applied to this area, we can now move over and we can now start focusing on the area that includes the rib. And I like doing this part because you need to zoom in to actually see some of the hidden lines and some of the intersections between these lines. If you simply go around with the Project Geometry button, this will actually project geometry which will be outside of what we want to be our closed loop. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to project some of the geometry, but not all of it. So I know I can project this line, I can project here, 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 and to here. The remaining pieces of geometry, I'm going to go ahead and grab my line tool, and then I'm going to actually draw lines. And I'm going to be very careful to come across to that point, and I'll start another line down to this point, and then start a line to here. And now I'm basically tracing over top of the hidden lines all the way up to the top of my part, and then my last line is going to be from the top of what would be my rib over to the top of the part. Once I have this closed loop set up, I should be able to grab Fill Hatch Region, come to the inside, and you can see it changes colors. That way I know I have a closed loop, and then I select it. I now select my hatch pattern toggle to turn it on, and then the same ANSI 31 will be the hatch pattern I select. I hit OK. Now what I should be able to do is finish my sketch, and I now have hatch pattern applied to the area that the standards and rules for hatching would require. I can now go in and select the hidden lines by holding down Control. I can work my way around and select the hidden lines I don't want, and then I can right click and turn off the visibility. I don't have to worry about the hidden lines that are underneath of these lines, because these lines would now in essence become what would be a visible line in the hatch. So we can leave those lines where they are. So now you can see a fairly simple process of going ahead to take a section view of a rib or web and remove the hatch pattern from the section view.